A very good morning, students. Welcome back to online class on programming for problem solving course. In our previous session, we have discussed the different types of functions. Types of functions, they have been categorized or classified based on the return value and parameter type of the given function. So return value is nothing but the output from the function, and parameter list is nothing but the input to the function. So based on the input and output of a function, we have classified the function types into four different types. The first type, we said void functions without parameters. So void functions, when I'm saying the function is not going to return anything and the return type will be void. So void functions without parameters, the first category. The second type, void functions with parameters. The third type, non-void functions without parameters. And the last type, non-void functions with parameters. So about each of these classification, we had an in-depth discussion with examples. So after that, we need to discuss about the input. The input, what we are giving to the function. I mean, how we can modify or how we can alter that input, or how we can perform the operations on that input, and from what point we have the access on the given input. Okay, so the given input is nothing but in the form of variables only we are passing the input to the function. That is, in the form of parameters we are passing the input to the functions. So how we can change, to what extent we have the access to change these parameters, we need to discuss in today's session. So that is nothing but there is an important concept like scope of a variable that we need to discuss in today's session. Scope of a variable. Scope is nothing but the lifetime of a given variable. So all of you are very familiar with this term lifetime, when I'm saying to what extent we have the access, to what extent the variable will exist in your programming. We call that particular area or that particular time as the lifetime of a variable. Okay, so you're declaring a variable and you're accessing a variable. So at what point you are declaring and at what point you are accessing, at that location where you are accessing the variable, do you have the complete access or do you have the restricted access? All these things we will discuss in this particular concept. So in order to restrict the access of a variable, we need to declare the variable within a block. So a block is something, a collection of statements, a group of statements, and in order to group the statements in our C language, we use the block. Block is nothing but a set of statements enclosed within a curly bracket. A set of statements enclosed within a curly bracket are nothing but the block, like this, something. So we are going to put all the statements over here. So at this point, if you're declaring a variable over here within the block, if you're declaring a variable and you're trying to access this variable out of the block, the access is restricted. You cannot access. If you have declared a variable within a block and you're trying to access that variable outside the block, you will get the restricted access, or in short, we can say no access. Okay, no access of this particular variable A outside of this block. Okay, so it is the block, it is block of code under which a variable is applicable or alive. So lifetime is nothing but it is a block of code. It is a block to where the variable's lifetime is restricted or the variable's lifetime is alive. Okay, so there are three places where variables can be declared in any programming language. I mean, where exactly we can declare the variables, in the sense we have three different places where we can do the declaration of a variable in our C programming language. The first one is inside a function or variable inside a function or a block. So if you are declaring a variable within a block, we call this variable as a local variable because its access, whatever variable you are declaring, its access is limited to this block. Because of that reason, we are calling this particular variable as a local variable because its access is limited to this block only. Outside this block, we have no access. That's the reason we are calling this variable as a local variable. The second is outside of all the functions. When I'm saying all the functions, including main. Okay, if you are declaring a variable outside of all the functions, we call that variable as a global variable. Global variable will have the access throughout your program. Okay, within your program, wherever you want to access the global variable, you can access. Inside any function, within your program, inside any function, any block, okay, if you want to access the variable, you can easily access it because it is declared outside of all the functions. So there is no restriction on that variable. You can access it anywhere within your program. So that's the reason we are calling these variables as global variables. Okay. And the third area or the third place where we can do the declaration of a variable in the sense inside a function's parameters. So where you are passing the input from the calling function, and at the called function, when you are receiving the parameters, there also you can do the declaration of variables. There also you can put the variables. Those variables, we call them as formal parameters. Okay, we call them as formal parameters. So these are the three places at which we can do the declaration of a variable. The first place, local variables, the second are global, and the third are formal parameters. Local, global, formal. Remember this one. Local means within a block or within a function. Global means outside of all the functions. In the definition of a function means at the called end of the function as a formal parameter. We are declaring it as a formal parameter. Okay, hopefully you understood these three things. So let's just go with the discussion of local, then global, then formal. Okay, first we'll discuss about the local variables. Local variables are the variables that are defined inside a function's body and used without having any role in the communication between functions. So if you are declaring a variable as a local to a function, that variable is not going to have any role in the communication process, or it is completely hidden from the outside world. The access to this variable is completely restricted from the outside world. Okay, when I'm saying outside the world, that is nothing but the other functions. The other functions, whatever functions, if they want to access a local variable, they have zero access. Simply they can't access, we can say. They can't access the local variables. Okay, it can only be used inside the subroutine. Subroutine is nothing but your function. Okay, where we can use these local variables in the sense inside to the functions where we have declared, or inside to the block where we have declared. Outside the block or outside the function, if you try to access these local variables, you will not get the access. Okay, and these local variables, how long they will exist, or to what extent their lifetime will span, in the sense as long as your block is active, as long as your function is active, or as long as your block code of block active, till that extent only these local variables will exist. Once the block is closed, once the code block is closed, or once the function is closed, the local variables will simply die. Okay, that's the reason, because they are dying, that's the reason you will get zero access to these variables outside of the functions or outside of the blocks. So here, if you see this example of add function, here I have written one user defined function, add function, and inside that function I am declaring two variables, a, b. Okay, I'm declaring two variables, a comma b. A's value I'm initializing to 4 and b's value I'm initializing to 5, as you can see over here. 4 and 5. And in the return statement, as my function's return type is integer, I can use the return statement to return integer value from this function add. So that I am doing over here. In my return statement, what I am doing, I am adding a plus b and I am sending that sum as an output from this function. Okay, so these two variables a and b will exist from this opening bracket, or we can say from the point where they have declared. Okay, these variables a and b will exist from the point where they have declared till the point the block is closed, or till the point the function is closed. So once you are seeing this closing bracket, what does it mean? It means the scope is ending over here. You are ending a locally created scope at this point. So when the compiler sees this one, what it will do, it will simply kill these two variables a and b. Or we can say when you reach these closing curly bracket of this particular block inside your code, okay, you have to understand that a and b variables are died. A and b variables are no more existing. So if you try to access this a and b outside of the block, somewhere over here, let us assume after this block, if you try to access a and b, you will get no access at all to these variables a and b. Okay, you just read this statement what I have written over here. Here variables a comma b are declared inside a function, that is add function. The scope of these variables remain inside that function and can't be used outside of that function. The same thing I have explained over here. When we are declaring a and b, their scope is limited to this particular block, and outside the block when we are trying to access this a and b, we can't because they died. So this is local variables. Practically we will see how, whatever statements I have given just now, is it justifiable or is it applicable? Okay. So quickly I will open my dev CPP. So this is my dev CPP and I am going to the new untitled file and I'm starting the C program.h, then int main of void. Yeah, this is my structure. So over here what I am doing, I'm going to use one function, that is add function. So int add of, are we passing any values over here? No. So parameter list is void. Then call that function add. As it is returning some value, take the integer result. Okay. Then result equals to add of void, as we are not passing any value. Then inside the function, what I am doing, int add of void, and inside this function declare two variables, a equals to some 4 and integer b equals to some 6. Then I'm returning a plus b like this. So when you are returning the value, it should be noted inside this result variable, res variable. So print that result over here. Printf the result equals to %d, comma, what is that? Result we need to print. Close. Save this, give some name, as we are practicing the scope of variable.c. Okay, program successfully coded, saved. Now compilation, it is giving some issue. Yes, over here void is not required. Okay, just save it. Once again compile it. Yes, see the return type of the return value and parameter list type. Okay, that should be specified only at the function declaration and function definition. It should not be specified at the time of function call. I kept void over here because that was the error, so we got the error. So now what I have done, I have removed that void from here, so hopefully I will not get any issues now. So let's just go and compile it once again. I am doing it now. The compilation, as you can see, it is successful. Now I am checking the output, and output, when we are adding a and b values, we should get the output as 10 that we are getting over here, isn't it? That we are getting over here. So now what I will do, as you can see, this a and b variables I have declared inside this add function. Okay, so as I said, their scope, a and b variables scope, is limited to this block. Okay, limited to this add function. So if I try to access that a and b values outside of my add function, that is inside within the main function, I am trying to access these two values, printf, okay, a equals to percentile d comma b equals to percentile d comma a comma b. I am trying to access a b values outside of my function add, where the a and b variables scope is restricted. So now what will happen? If I do so, I will get a compile time error. It is saying, if you read the message, it is saying a is undeclared. Okay, undeclared in the sense it is not at all recognizing your main function. It is not at all recognizing, even though the variable a is a part of our program, but our main function is completely unaware of that variable. The reason, a and b variables, they are local to the add function. Because of that reason, our main function is not recognizing them, and it is simply raising an issue, raising an error over here. Hopefully you understood this issue. Okay, now the next thing, yeah, we have the concept of the global variables. So global variables are the variables which are defined or which are declared outside of all the functions, including the main function. Okay, what we are doing, how we are declaring these global variables, in the sense we are not making these variables as part of any of the functions in our program. Simply we are declaring them outside of all the functions, okay, including the main. So if you do so, then what will happen? As you are declaring these variables at global level or at global stage, these variables are available inside of all the functions. You can even access in main, in any other user defined function, wherever you want, you can access these global variables. There is no restriction, zero restriction, we can say. There is no restriction at all on these global variables. Okay, so it has a global scope. Whatever variables we are declaring it globally, all these global variables will have the global scope. Global scope means no restriction at all, global access. Okay, it holds its value throughout the lifetime of the program. As long as your program is under execution, as long as your program is executing, to that extent your global variables will survive. To that extent your global variables will be available, and whenever you want, wherever you want in your program, you can access them without any restriction. Remember this one. Okay. Yes, quickly, yeah, we need to discuss these global variables with a program demonstration. As you can see over here, I have declared two variables, same like in your previous program, a comma b, but these declarations or definitions I am doing outside of all the functions. So this is my main function, and this is my add function. I am doing the declaration of this a and b after, before this main and before this add. I'm not making this a and b as part of any of our function. So we will see how they will affect our what we call program. Okay, so as they are, according to our discussion so far, as they are global, a comma b variables, as they are global, I should be able to access these two variables inside main, and I should be able to access this a comma b inside add. Main is my main function and add is my user defined functions. And as there is no restriction on the scope and lifetime of these variables a comma b, because they are global, I should be able to access them between inside main as well as inside add function. So quickly we will go and we will see the demonstration of this program as well. So instead of writing the complete program once again, what I will do is, previously whatever program I have written, okay, whatever program I have written, I will simply make use of that same program, because here also we have main, here also we have add. So what I will do, I will declare this a comma b. Here I have declared locally. So now what I am doing, I am removing these local declarations, because we are going for global declarations now. So just go to the top before the main and before this add. Okay, before this add, yeah, here you put that declaration, global declaration. So what is that? Int a equals to 4, int b equals to 5. Like this you put the declarations of a comma b. Okay, so then int main void, the function name same we are keeping. And yeah, one more thing here, yeah, let them be like that, or else shall we do only the declaration here like this? Yes, we'll go like this. So just make a comma b, don't initialize the values, and initialize the values from main. Okay, here you come down and initialize the value of a to 4 comma value of b to 5, like this. Now inside this add function we are adding them and we are returning them. Okay, so save this program, come over here, compile. As you can see, no issues, because why we are not getting any issues means we are accessing a comma b inside main as well as we are accessing a comma b inside add function, and they are global. That's the reason we are not getting any issue, because they are global. The scope is not limited, the scope is throughout the program. Okay, the lifetime of these two variables is throughout the program. That's the reason we are not getting any issue. Just go to the execute and compile. As you can see, the compilation is successful. Now execute, run. As you can see, we got the result like 9, a value as 4 and b value as 5. Okay, so we declared them globally, we initialized the values inside main function, and we calculated the sum inside add function. So everywhere without any restriction we are getting the access. That is, inside the main function we are getting the access, inside the add function we are getting the access of a comma b variables. So with this we can conclude that there is no restriction on the access of global variables. We have seen practically. So quickly, our next example is on formal parameters. What does it mean by formal parameters? Yeah, here I have listed some of the differences between global and local variables. Okay, so I have taken few parameters in order to differentiate these two types of variables, local and global. I have taken few parameters like scope, value, lifetime, data sharing, parameters, all these things I have taken, and in few more are in our next slide, that is modification of the value and accessed by memory storage. Okay, how these things, these parameters will get affected when we are talking about local and global variables. So first of all, let's just see how the scope of the variable is limited or given based on the type local as well as global. So if the variable is local, the scope will be within the function or inside the block where you are declaring. Outside the block there will be no scope. Okay, for the global variables it is declared, as the global variables are declared outside of all the functions including main, their scope will be not limited and you can access anywhere in the program. And the value, okay, if it is not initialized, a garbage value is stored. If the variable type is local type and if you are not doing the initialization, they will hold the garbage value. Garbage value in the sense some meaningless value or some unwanted value left out from the previous execution or from the previous usage of that memory block. Okay, so we call that value as the garbage value. So the next thing is, if it is not initialized, okay, if the global variable is not initialized, then what will happen? They will hold zeros. They will not hold garbage value, rather they hold zeros. Okay, lifetime, I mean, to what extent we can access them, in the sense it is created when the function start execution and lost when the functions terminated. So whatever block inside which you kept the local variables, they will be created once that block execution starts, and when they will die means once that block's execution stops. And for the global variables, the lifetime is throughout the program. Okay, the global variables are created when the program execution starts, and they will be lost when the program execution terminates. As these variables are not limited to any block, they will remain active, or they will remain alive, they will remain available as long as your program is under execution. Okay, next thing is data sharing. So data sharing, it is completely restricted, as these variables are local and the scope is limited to the block. We cannot use them for data sharing. Local variables, we can't use them for data sharing. But whereas global variables, their scope, their usage is not limited to the block. So we can, global variables are the efficient ways, are the best ways for data sharing between the functions. Okay. Then we have the parameters. Parameter passing is required. Okay. If you want to access these variables between the functions, if you want to access these local variables between the functions, what you have to do, you have to apply the parameter passing mechanism. Then only variables declared inside one function will become available into another function. By default, no availability. By parameter passing only we can achieve that availability. Okay. Then for global variables, no need of parameter passing technique. As they are global, you can access them within any function. You can access them within any function. There is no restriction, there is no limitation. So no parameter passing technique is required. Next, modification of the variable's value. Okay, when the value of the local variable is modified in one function, the changes are not visible into another function. Whatever modifications you are doing within one function for these local variables, as they are not having any access inside the outside functions, you will not see any change. Okay, you will not see any change. Even if you pass them as parameters to a downward function, okay, or to a called function, in that called function, whatever modifications you are doing, those modifications you will not see in the calling function. Okay, the parameters which you are passing from the calling function, we call them as actual parameters, and the parameters which you are receiving at the called function, we call them as formal parameters. So changes, whatever changes you are doing to the formal parameters, they will not affect the actual parameters. Remember this one, this particular statement is very, very important. On this particular statement only, there is a 7 marks LAQ is dependent. Changes made to the formal parameters does not affect the actual parameters. You have to remember and you have to understand this. Why means, because whatever actual parameters you are passing to the called function, they are local to the calling function. So inside the called function, whatever changes you do to these formal parameters, they will not affect the actual parameters, because actual parameters are local to the calling function and formal parameters are local to the called function. So changes made to the local values or local variables will not affect outside of the block. Okay, will not affect outside of the block. That's the reason whatever changes we are doing to the formal parameters, they will not affect the actual parameters. Hope you understood these things. Okay, accessed by, the local variables can be accessed with the help of statements inside a function in which they are declared. So in order to access these local variables, we need to depend on statements. You can access the global variables by any statement within the program. Not only to the local statements, but also to the other function statements, you can access these global variables. Okay. It is stored on the stack unless specified. It is stored on a fixed location decided by the computer. So compiler, sorry. So global variables, they always be stored on the stack, but the local variables, but the global variables, they have some specified location which will be decided by the compiler. Yes, parameters. Just now I have given the explanation. Parameter means whatever input you are giving to the function, we call that input as a parameter or argument to the function. Parameters to the function or arguments to the function. Okay, based on the type of author, they are going to use different terminologies to represent the input to the function. Some authors, they will call it as parameters. Some authors, they will call it as arguments. But in our reference, because the textbook which we are referring, the author which we are referring, they use the word parameters only. That's the reason we use the word parameter only in our discussion. So whenever I say parameters, you have to understand it as input to the function, the values or the variables which we are passing as an input to the function. Okay. C functions exchange information by means of parameters. So already we discussed whatever variables you are declaring inside the function, all those variables are local variables. Local means limited access, restricted access. So between the functions, we are not going to have any access. So for these local variables, how we can achieve the access between the functions, in the sense with the help of parameter passing. Okay, and these parameters are helpful in order to achieve the communication, in order to achieve the data passing, data sharing between the functions. The term parameter refers to any declaration within the parenthesis following the function name. So generally, whenever we are writing a function like this, suppose if you are writing a function name, and immediately after this function name, what we will do, we will take the set of parentheses. Okay, we will take the set of parentheses, like this opening parenthesis and like this closing parenthesis. So between this opening and closing parenthesis, whatever values we pass, we call them as parameters. Okay, let us say if I'm passing over here a comma b comma c and so on, some random values I'm passing. So all these values as a list, as a collection, we call them as parameter list. Okay, parameter list. And these parameter list is the area, okay, which is available to the function. Okay, which is available to the immediate function block. So whatever function block we are going to have after this function name, inside that function block you can access all these parameters. Okay. The number of parameters in the function call must be the same number of parameters in the function definition. This number can also be 0. So the number, I mean how many parameters you are taking for a function, it should be same. The count should be same for function declaration, for function declaration, definition and function call. Definition and function call. So I mean how many parameters you are using. Let us say at the declaration you have specified 7, so you must have to specify 7 at the definition, and you must have to pass 7 parameters at the function call. The count should be exactly same in both, I mean in all declaration, definition and initial calling stages. Okay, and this number can also be 0. If you don't want to put any parameters to your function, you simply make the parameter list as void. It indicates that the function is not receiving any values. Okay, and if you have more number of parameters, how we can separate them, in the sense by using the comma. Okay, between the parameters what we have to do, we need to put the comma. Okay, the scope of the function parameter is to the function itself. So whatever parameters whatever input you are giving to the function, that inputs or that parameters scope is limited to that function only. Outside of that function we cannot access the parameters as well. Parameters, we have two different types. One is the formal parameters and the other one is actual parameters. And between these two, if they are normal variables, both the formal parameters and actual parameters, if they are normal variable, if you do any changes to the formal parameters, that is formal variables, those changes will not affect the actual parameters. Okay, this thing to explain these actual and formal parameters, this thing to explain, we need to discuss one example, and with that we will conclude the discussion, and in tomorrow's session we will discuss the interfunction communication. Let's just quickly go and see the example with that same program. So, or else we can go for the new program. I'm adding my library file, then this is my program, and in this program I'm taking a function. To that function I'm not returning any value from the function, so the return type is void, and my function name is modify I am taking, and it is having two parameters. Okay, so I'm taking two data types int specification over there, because I'm going to pass two values to this function. So inside this function, what I have to do, declare the variables a comma b, and assign some values to this a comma b. 4 comma 5 I have assigned. Now as the function is not returning anything, directly call the function modify and pass those values a comma b. Okay, so after this, print the values, printf of a equals to percentile d, okay, comma b equals to percentile d, comma a comma b. At the end put the semicolon. Now come down and write the definition. See, function declaration is over, function calling is over, function definition is missing. So write the definition. Okay, function name is modify, and it is receiving two values, even if you take the same variable names. Okay, what will happen, you just see. So here what I am doing, I am modifying the a's value. A is equals to some 35 I am saying, and b is equals to some 45 I am saying. Previously, I mean, the a and b values, where I have declared them, I have initialized those values as 4 comma 5. Then I am passing those values, a comma b values, to this function modify, okay, as parameters. You can see here a comma b values I am passing. So a comma b values over here, they are my actual parameters. They are my actual parameters. So when I am receiving these values over here, they are my formal parameters. They are my formal parameters. A comma b values as formal parameters. I am receiving them over here. So what will happen? From a to this a, from actual parameter, here a act as actual parameter, here a as formal parameters. What will happen? From here to here, the value will get copied. A value 4 will get copied from here to here. B value 5 will get copied from here to here. So here inside this modify function, whatever changes I am doing, I am modifying A's value as 35 and B's value as 45. Does it going to affect my actual parameters in the sense? No. Because these modifications, whatever we are doing over here, they are limited to this block. Okay? They are limited to this block, and they are not going to have any effect on the actual parameters. Okay? Whatever changes you are doing to these formal parameters, they are not going to affect my actual parameters. And my actual parameters, even after the call of this modify function, my actual parameters will remain the same, 4 and 5 only. To show that, let me just execute this program and show you the output. So compilation, as you can see, it is successful without any errors. Now just go and run the program to see the output. As you can see, A value 4 I am getting, B value 5 I am getting without any effect. Whatever modification we have done inside the function body modify, we are not seeing that modification, or we are not seeing that change on my actual parameters. My actual parameters are intact. My actual parameters are unchanged. So that's one of the thing we need to understand between the actual parameters and formal parameters. So quickly go to the slide and see what other concepts. Yes, formal parameters when we are saying, actual parameters when we are saying the variables or expressions corresponding to a formal parameters that appears in the function or method call in the calling environment. Where exactly you are calling the function, at that location only we are specifying the actual parameter. So over here, yeah, the modify function is called over here, and a and b values we are specifying at the calling function only, at the calling environment of the function only. The parameters that are passed in the function call are called actual parameters. These parameters are defined in the calling function only. Where we are defining these actual parameters? Inside the calling function only we are defining. These are the variables or expressions referred in the parameter list of a subroutine call, subprogram call. So when you are passing these actual parameters, they will be copied into the formal parameters. Okay, and when you are calling the function or where you are specifying the actual parameters, you need to specify only the variable names. No need to specify the data type of those variables. Okay, that's the reason when I'm calling my modify function, I specified only a comma b. I have not specified any data type associated with this a comma b. Coming to the formal parameters, they appear at the prototype. Prototype is nothing but the declaration and as well as the definition of the function. At two different places, these formal parameters will appear, and when you are representing these formal parameters, you have to specify the data type as well. Okay, the scope of formal parameters. So whatever formal parameters we have received at the function definition, their scope is limited to that function only. Outside of the function, even if you try to access these formal parameters, you will get zero access. Okay, so here some of the differences we noted between the actual parameters and formal parameters. So an ordered list of parameters which are included at the time of definition of the function. So formal parameters, where exactly we are specifying in the sense at the function definition. So where you are writing the function definition, there we are specifying the formal parameters, and their count and order should match with the actual parameters. Type, count and order should match with the formal parameter, actual parameters. These are the ordered list of parameters which are included at the time of function call. So actual parameters where we are specifying at the function call. So you have to remember this one. Formal parameters, when I am saying, they will be represented or they will be available at the definition of the function. But actual parameters, where they will be available at the function call. When you are calling the function, there we are specifying the actual parameters, and when we are defining the function, there we are specifying the formal parameters. Yes, formal parameters, data type needs to be mentioned, and here it is not required. Okay, here it is not required. At the time of formal parameters, that is at the time of function definition, data type is required, but at the time of function call, data type is not required. Okay, yes, these are variables with their data type. So formal parameters, not only the data type but also the variable names you have to specify. These can be variables, expressions, constants without any data type. See, in actual parameters, not only the variable names but also you can put the constants, and also you can put the expressions. Constant in the sense some legitimate value, fixed value, that also you can keep. Expression in the sense some calculation without the final result, some calculation also you can pass as an argument, as an actual parameter. Okay, these are only definitions of input data types. Okay, these are to show which type of data should be given as input while calling the function. So formal parameters generally holds not only the what we call variable name but also the type, and that type indicates at the time of calling the function what values we need to pass, what type of values we need to pass. Okay, actual parameters are the values which are given as input at the called function, to the called function, at the calling function. Actual parameters we are specifying at the calling portion, and formal parameters we are specifying or we are receiving at the called portion. So actual parameters, they can be normal variables, they can be constants, they can be expressions. but formal parameters, they must always be variables only. Okay, remember this one. And here I have given one simple example which we have already discussed to show the difference between actual parameters and formal parameters, and to also show whatever changes you are doing to the formal parameters, they will not affect the actual parameters. I have shown everything. So with this discussion of actual and formal parameters, will stop the today's class, will conclude today's class here. And in tomorrow's class, we will be discussing the inter-function communication, one of the important concept from this functions unit. Okay, and it is an LAQ question, long answer question. And last time in your most recent AICTE Model University question paper, they have asked this question, and it is a very, very important question. Hopefully you understood. Thank you very much, students.